Okay, so now let's move ahead and continue with chapter 5, that is natural vegetation and wildlife. About India as a natural vegetation, we have five major types of forest, that is evergreen forest, deciduous forest, thorny shrubs, Himalayan forest, and the coastal forest. We are going to study each of them in detail. To start with, the first one is evergreen forest. Evergreen forest receives more than 2000 mm of rainfall. The type of leaves that are present here are broad and green. The type of wood is hard, heavy, and durable. The names of trees that are present here are mahogany, rosewood, rubber, etc. Remember that you need to know all these details for distinguish between and also for your brief answers. Next is the deciduous type of forest. Deciduous type of forest is present in the major part of our country because major part of our country receives rainfall between 1000 to 2000 mm. Also, these trees are the ones that shade their leaves during the dry season. मतलब समर सीजन में इनके पत्ते वो छोड़ देते हैं, गिरा देते हैं. Why? Because evaporation takes place from leaves itself. So to save their water, they shade their leaves. The names of trees that are present here are teak, bamboo, banyan, peepal, etc. The next type of forest is the thorny shrub vegetation. The rainfall year received is less than 500 mm. This thorny shrub is found in Gujarat Rajasthan region and also in the rain shadow region behind the Western Ghats. The types of leaves here are small in size. The vegetation found here is catechu, acacia, khejri, cactus like aloe vera and agave, which have medicinal properties. The next type of forest is the Himalayan forest. Himalayan forest is divided based on the altitude. The highest altitude, the forest that is found at the highest altitude has seasonally flowering trees. At medium altitude, we have coniferous trees, that is, the trees that are conical in shape. At the foothills, we have a mixed forest that is a mix of both coniferous and deciduous. The types of trees present here are pine, deodar, fir, sal, etc. And finally, the last one is the coastal forest. Coastal forests are a forest found in swamps, estuaries, lagoons, saline soils, and moist climate. Basically, जिधर भी पानी है, वहाँ पे the type of forest that we will find is coastal forest. The type of wood that is found here is oily, it is light and durable. These are called as mangroves or sundarbans. Sundarban is a delta that is formed by river Ganga and Brahmaputra together. The types of trees present here are called as Sundari trees. Moving ahead, the wildlife of India. So in India, elephants are found in hot and humid type of forest. One-horned rhinoceros is found in swampy and marshy lands of Assam. Wild ass and camels are found in arid lands. Arid land matlab the region where the temperature is high. Snow leopards and yaks are found in the snow-capped region of Himalayas. Indian bisons, deers, antelopes, and monkeys are found in the peninsular region. India is the only country which has both tigers and lions. Further, we have turtles, crocodiles, and gharials found in rivers, estuaries, and coastal areas. Other birds, that is peacocks, Indian bustard, kingfisher, pheasants, ducks, parakeets, cranes, and pigeons are found in forest and wetlands. We not just have wildlife and natural vegetation, but this wildlife and natural vegetation is also exploited in our country. So the reasons for the extinction or exploitation of these is because of poaching, pollution, and rapidly occurring deforestation. A give reason is asked based on these points. We are supposed to explain why do we have extinction of natural vegetation and wildlife. Even if we have extinction or exploitation, we also have protection of wildlife and forests in India in the form of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, bird sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves. After completing India, let's move ahead and talk about Brazil's natural vegetation. So the type of forest present here are equatorial forest in the equatorial region, tropical forest which is present between equator to Tropic of Capricorn, then is swampy lands which is present in Pantanal region in the southwest, फिर a hot deciduous forest which is present in the leeward side of escarpment, फिर है thorny shrubs which is present in the drought quadrilateral, and finally the temperate grassland which is present to the south of Capricorn. टेम्परेट रीजन में कैप्रिकॉर्न के नीचे हमें क्या मिलता है? टेम्परेट ग्रासलैंड. Unlike India, जैसे इंडिया में every type of forest was explained in detail, that is not the case about Brazil. Brazil में we are given general features. So the amount of rainfall reduces as one goes away from the equator. जैसे ही हम इक्वेटर से दूर जाने लगते हैं, amount of rainfall धीरे धीरे कम होता है. It rains throughout the year in the evergreen forest. मतलब in the Amazon Valley it rains throughout the year. The types of grasses, short shrubs, and thorny vegetation is found during rainfall in certain areas, not certain seasons, certain areas. May during rainfall we find grasses, short shrubs, thorny vegetation, and other different types of plantations. The types of trees that are found here in Brazil are pau Brazil, rubber, mahogany, rosewood, and other variety of orchids. Amazon rainforests are also called as the lungs of the world. Again, a very important give reason. Why are they called the lungs of the world? It is because we know that trees inhale carbon dioxide and give out oxygen, which is helpful for the people present on this planet, and that is the reason it is called the lungs of the world. Here we complete chapter 5. Let's move to chapter 6, that is population. Again, this chapter from now on, the chapters that we will be discussing are important from your objectives point of view and map marking point of view. So let's start. India has a total population of 121 crores. According to the population, India ranks second in the world. But area-wise, India has only 2.41% of the land. And that is the reason, according to area, India ranks 7th. The average population density of India is 382 persons per square kilometer. On the contrary, the population of Brazil is only 19 crores. And according to the population, it ranks 5th in the world. Area-wise, it has 5.6% of the land. Even then, world ranking के हिसाब से it ranks 5th in the world. Average population density is 23 persons per square kilometer, which is very less than India. Next, let's talk about the highest population density states in India and Brazil and the lowest. Why are we talking about the highest and the lowest population density state? Because this is asked in map marking. Map marking में आपको बोल सकते हैं mark any one state of Brazil that has high population density. So in that case, you need to know the name and you need to know its location to mark on the map. So highest population density in India is found in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Kerala and Andhra Pradesh. Low population density is found in Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Himachal Pradesh. The growth rate of India, although is declining, the population is still growing. मतलब जो रेट है जिस पे वो बढ़ रहा था, मल्टीप्लिकेशन जितने स्पीड में हो रहा था वो कम हो गया है, फिर भी पॉपुलेशन तो ऑफ कोर्स बढ़ने ही वाला है. On the contrary, if we talk about Brazil, highest population density is found in Sao Paulo, Minas Gerais and Rio de Janeiro. Low population density is found in Para, Roraima and Amazonas. Talking about population growth rate, although it is declining, the population is also not growing. How is that possible? It is possible because The growth in population of Brazil is negligible. Moving ahead, let's talk about the population composition. So India has more of youth population, whereas Brazil has old population. The life expectancy of India is 68 years. इधर थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ है, ध्यान दो. Life expectancy of India is 68 years and Brazil is 75 years. Literacy of India is only 72.2%, whereas for Brazil it is 92.6%. India ka sex ratio is 940 females per 1000 males, and Brazil's sex ratio is high. It is 1080 females per 1000 males. That was all about your chapter 6, that is population. Let's now talk about chapter 7, that is human settlements. So whenever we talk, अगर हमें कहीं पे घर लेना है, हमें हमारे पापा को, हमारी फैमिली को कहीं घर लेना है, so which are the factors that affect? Climatic factors. We cannot go and live in any extreme climatic condition. Next is availability of water. पानी तो चाहिए ना, बिना पानी के हम रह नहीं सकते हैं. Then is the slope of land, and finally the level of development. So let's talk about the settlement in India first. It is divided into two, that is nucleated settlement and dispersed settlement. Nucleated settlement मतलब चिपक चिपक के रहना, cluster formation में रहना. So it is found in plateau region of Narmada River, in the paddy lands of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, in Vindhya plateaus and other cultivated parts of India. So basically जहाँ पे भी पानी अवेलेबल है, जहाँ पे भी लैंड इवन है, वहां पे आपको पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा मिलेगा. Whereas dispersed settlement is something that is found in tribal parts of central India. It is found in eastern and southern Rajasthan, Himalayan slopes, and the lands that have uneven topography. So basically, जहाँ पे भी extreme climatic condition है या तो फिर uneven topography है, वहां पे the population is dispersed. लोग एक दूसरे से दूर दूर रहते हैं, ज्यादा लोग नहीं रहते हैं. In this chapter, we will also talk about the urbanization. Urbanization means the percentage of population that lives in the urban area of that country. So the urbanization in India is 31.2%. And urbanization is more in the southern part as compared to the northern part of our country. Why? Because north में हमें पता है एक तो हिमालयस है, uneven topography है, plus North Indian plains are blessed with फ्लैट लैंड, फर्टाइल लैंड, तो वहां पे एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस होता है. इसलिए अर्बनाइजेशन ज्यादा कहाँ पे है? इट इज इन द सदर्न पार्ट. The most urbanized state of India is Goa with 62%, whereas most urbanized region is Delhi. अभी region और state में difference क्यों है? क्योंकि Delhi is not a state. इसीलिए whenever in objectives it is asked, write the most urbanized region, you have to mention Delhi as your answer. The other urbanized states are Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Gujarat, etc. And the least urbanized states are Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Uttarakhand, etc. That was all about your human settlements and urbanization of India. Next about Brazil. So even Brazil has nucleated and dispersed type of settlement. So the south and the southeastern coastal regions, example the Sao Paulo, has a nucleated settlement. उधर ज़्यादा लोग रहते हैं because there we have good water supply, large range of natural resources, ideal condition for growing coffee, steady energy supply, good transport system. ये सारी चीजें हैं plus iron ore and other minerals भी available है. That is the reason the population is living there. उनको कोई ना कोई काम मिल जाता है. But dispersed settlement is found in the northeast highlands क्योंकि वहां पे extreme droughts है, difficult है to practice agriculture. So there we have dispersed settlement. Dispersed settlement is also found in Amazon River Basin because it is covered by thick, dense equatorial rainforest. Because it is very dense equatorial rainforest, the climate here is unhealthy and unfit for people to live. Also, there is limitation on use and exploitation of natural resources. आओ जाओ और कुछ भी तोड़ो, किधर से भी कुछ भी लेके जाओ, ऐसा नहीं चलता है. And because it is very dense and inaccessible, The transport links are also not very well developed. Talking about the urbanization of Brazil, Brazil has 86% of urbanization. Rapid urbanization is taking place in the south and southeast of the country, but because major population is living in this particular area, the government is promoting Go West policy. Why? So that the regional imbalance reduces. सारे लोग आके एक ही जगह पे रह रहे हैं, तो government is promoting Go West policy. The most urbanized states here are Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Espírito Santo, and the least urbanized are Para, Maranhão, and next. Coming to chapter 8. Coming to chapter 8, it is economy and occupations. So here again, we'll talk about both economy and occupation in detail. First, let's understand the contribution of different sectors in both the countries, that is Brazil and India. So basically, there are three major sectors, that is primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. While I'm speaking, I want you all to look at the pie charts. So the contribution of primary sector in India is around 17%, whereas in Brazil it is 5.5% to the GDP. लेकिन ब्राजील में टर्शरी सेक्टर का कंट्रीब्यूशन है 67% and India's contribution is 57%. This clearly states that India is an agrarian economy or an agricultural country, whereas Brazil is an industrial economy. Next, this pie chart is telling us about the percentage of population that is engaged in various sectors. So, in India, around 50%, मतलब 48.8% on an aggregate अगर मैंने किया तो भी around 50% of India's population is engaged in primary sector, whereas Brazil में only 10% is engaged. And in Brazil, we have around 71% of its population engaged in tertiary sector. This clearly states again and proves again that India is an agricultural country. Although India's GDP is more than Brazil, मतलब इंडिया का जीडीपी $2 ट्रिलियन है एंड ब्राजील का $1 ट्रिलियन है, इवन देन ब्राजील का पर कैपिटा इनकम ज्यादा है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो 1 ट्रिलियन कमा भी रहा है तो भी उसका जो पॉपुलेशन है वो कम है, तो जो इनकम है वो कम लोगों में डिवाइड हो रहा है. लेकिन इंडिया की बात करें तो इंडिया का जो जीडीपी है वो ऑल दो $2 ट्रिलियन है, लेकिन डिवाइड करने के लिए 121 करोड़ लोग हैं, सो per capita income reduces. That was about the economy of both India and Brazil. Moving ahead, let's talk about the occupations. First, let's talk about agriculture in India. So India has subsistence type of agriculture. Around 60% of India's land is under cultivation, and higher percentage of population, as we know, is engaged here because we have level plains, rich soil, cultivable land, and wide climatic variety. In India, we also have mining that takes place. So Chota Nagpur Plateau hai, is called the storehouse of minerals. Marking Chota Nagpur Plateau is very important for map marking. You need to write the name of the place as well, and you need to mention it in the index. The main occupation of people who live here is definitely mining. Coal mining is something that is practiced in Korba in Chhattisgarh in eastern Maharashtra and in eastern Maharashtra. Mineral oil wells are found in Digboi in Assam, Mumbai High, Kalol and Koyali in Gujarat. Remember, marking mineral oils is very important. Can be asked in map marking. फिर आता है mineral oil and natural gas. So this is also found at the mouth of river Godavari. Marble is found in Rajasthan and Kadapa in Andhra Pradesh. Moving ahead, let's talk about fishing in India. So we know India has a vast coastline of 7,500 kilometers. The fishing is divided into two, that is marine fishing and freshwater fishing. So marine fishing contributes to 40% of the annual production. This takes place from Kutch, Malabar coast to the Coromandel coast of Tamil Nadu. The major fishes found in marine fishing are sardines, mackerel, Bombay duck, and prawns. Silver bellies, horse mackerels, clupids are also found on the eastern coast. The second type of fishing is freshwater fishing that contributes to 60% of the annual production. This is carried out in rivers, canals, tanks, ponds, lakes, etc. The major fishes that are found here are silver bellies, carp, and many others. Let's talk about the industries present in India. So we have a metallurgy industry in the northeast. The agro-based industry and cement industries are present in the raw material producing area. मतलब ये इंडस्ट्री का जो रॉ मटेरियल जहाँ पे मिलता है वहीं पे उनकी इंडस्ट्रीज है. Forest based industries are also present near the forest areas. The coir, copper, and fish canning industries are found in the coastal belt of Kerala. And finally, the salt manufacturing industries are found in Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Tamil Nadu. Talking about the industries, mechanical engineering, electrical, automobile industries are found in the big cities of India. रिफाइनरीज जो हमने मिनरल ऑयल वेल्स देखे वहां से सिर्फ ऑयल एक्सट्रैक्ट होता है लेकिन ये जो ऑयल है उसको रिफाइन भी करना पड़ता है सो दीज रिफाइनरीज आर फाउंड इन कोयाली डिगबोई नूनमती एंड बोंगाईगांव which are close to the petroleum producing areas. But there are a few refineries in the interior areas as well, which are Mathura and Barauni. Now let's talk about the trade of India. So the items that India exports are tea, mangoes, coffee, spices, leather, and many other products. Similarly, the products that we import, जो हम लेके आते हैं बाहर की कंट्री से, वो है petroleum, machines, pearls, precious stones, and many other things. The major trading partners of India are UK, USA, Germany, Japan, China, and Russia. Let's see what is India's investment in Brazil. India ने ब्राजील में कौन से सेक्टर्स में या कौन से इंडस्ट्री में इन्वेस्ट किया है. So we have invested in IT industry, in pharmaceuticals industry, energy, mining, and agricultural business. That was our complete brief understanding of occupations of India. Now let's talk about the occupation of Brazil, starting with agriculture first. So the main occupation of agriculture is practiced in highlands and in the coastal areas because they have favorable climate and good topography. The cereal crops that are grown here are rice and maize. कमर्शियल क्रॉप्स मतलब वो क्रॉप्स जिससे पैसे आते हैं वो पैसे के लिए ग्रो किया जाता है. The commercial crops that are present here are coffee and cocoa. Brazil is not just the largest exporter of coffee, but it is also the largest exporter of soya bean. The coffee growing states of Brazil are Minas Gerais and Sao Paulo. There are n number of fruits that are present here in Brazil, and sheep rearing and cattle rearing is done in savanna grasslands. Remember, cereal crops, commercial crops, ये सारी चीजें आपको आंसर इन वन सेंटेंस के लिए पूछी जा सकती है. So you need to know at least 2 to 3 examples of all the different types of crops, fruits that are grown in this country. Next is about mining. So Brazil is rich in iron ore, diamond, and copper, which is present in the eastern part of the country. Mining is very well developed in the highland region. The other major industries that Brazil has are iron and steel production, automobile, chemical, and cement making industries. Other small industries that they have are technology based industries, food processing industry, sugar industry, cotton, silk, and woolen industry. We know that Brazil also has a long coastline of around 7,400 kilometers. इसीलिए यहाँ पे भी fishing is divided into two, that is marine fishing and inland fishing. Marine fishing is carried out in the South Atlantic coast, whereas inland fishing is not very well developed. The major fishes that are found here are swordfish, shrimp, lobsters, and sardines. Please remember that differentiate between fishing of India and Brazil is a majorly important question asked for 4 marks. So you need to know this answer very thoroughly. You need to know different types of fishes that are found in either of the countries. Next, let's talk about the trade. So the items that Brazil exports are iron ore, coffee, cocoa, cotton, soya bean, etc. The items that they import, जो वो लेते हैं from other countries are machinery, chemical products, fertilizers, heavy vehicles, mineral oil, etc. The trading partners of Brazil are Germany, USA, Canada, Italy, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, and India. Let's now see what is the investment of Brazil in India. So Brazil has invested in automobiles, IT sector, mining, energy, biofuels, and footwear sectors in India. That was about our chapter 8, and now we come to the last chapter of our textbook, that is chapter 9, tourism, transport, and communication. Talking about tourism, we know it has been developing of late in our country. We have different types of tourism, that is heritage, adventure, cultural, health, and business tourism. Ecotourism, which is introduced recently, is given a boost. Tourism contributes less in our GDP, although a large amount of or a large number of population is engaged in this sector. The different types of transportation system that we have in India are roadways, railways, airways, and waterways. For roadways, we have a dense network of transportation and the density is high in the North Indian plains. Talking about the railways, if you have to cover a large or long distances, the railways are the best option. Although they are relatively less in the hilly states, northeastern states, and central part of India and Rajasthan. Airways are more developed in our country and use of internal airways is also increasing. India's waterways contributes to 1% of country's transportation. In our country, River Ganga is used for internal transport from Allahabad to Haldia, that is around 1,620 kilometers. Ocean routes contribute to around 95% of India's foreign trade because we as a country are surrounded by three water bodies, and so major transportation from foreign takes place from ocean routes. Transportation that takes place between the islands and the rest of the country is taken place by the waterways itself. Finally, about the communication. So we have explosion of electronic media telecommunication industry, which is growing very fast in our country. India has been developing its own satellites, and the space launching programs are taken place by the space launching programs are taken care by ISRO. When we talk about communication, कभी सोचा है कि कैसे हमें अमेरिका से कॉल आता है या हम अगर कोई प्रोडक्ट्स मंगाते हैं तो कैसे हमें ऑल ओवर द ग्लोब, अमेरिका है, लंदन है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया है, यहाँ से हमें जो चीजें चाहिए वो यहाँ कैसे पहुंचती है. So all this is possible because of standard time and the different time zones that are followed throughout the globe. So India, if we talk about, has a very large longitudinal extent. The difference between the two extreme points of India is around 120 minutes, that is around 2 hours. So the extreme westernmost point of India is Guarmoto and the extreme easternmost point is Kibittu village. Please remember these names for a map marking, okay? And because India has a distance of around 2 hours between the two extreme points, we have only one standard time zone, that is Indian Standard Time, which passes through Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh. And this is ahead of GMT by 5 hours and 30 minutes. This Indian Standard Time longitude is 82°5' east. Again, a very important one sentence. Now, next, let's talk about Brazil's tourism. Brazil, we know, has tourism as a very important economic activity because it is blessed with clean white sand beaches, attractive sea coast, beautiful islands, orchids, deep dense forests, etc. Ecotourism is also very well developed in this country because, of course, it has dense forest where they can practice ecotourism. Tourism contributes more in the GDP, although the population that is engaged in this sector is low. Transportation in Brazil is also in the terms of roadways, railways, airways, and waterways. So, roadways is the most common method of transportation. The density of roadways is higher in the eastern part. Railways is not very well developed, and it is definitely not developed in the forested lands of Amazon, in the swampy lands of north and northwestern plains. Airways again is also something that is not very well developed in Brazil. But if we talk about waterways, then internal waterways is not much developed because we know that it is a country which has rigid topography and there is a huge discharge of water here. So हमने देखा था 150 किलोमीटर का अगर माउथ है रिवर अमेज़न का तो उसका डिस्चार्ज कितना ज्यादा होगा, तो इसीलिए ऐसे ह्यूज डिस्चार्ज की वजह से हमेशा वाटरवेज यूज करना इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. ऑल्दो river Amazon is navigable completely. It is the longest waterway of around 3,700 kilometers. Coastal shipping is found or it takes place in the coastal areas. Talking about the communication, so telecommunication services are very well developed and are efficient here. They have been developing technology to send their satellites into the space. The Brazilian Space Agency, which is also called the AED, have been looking after the space launching programs. Talking about the standard time of this country, so because it is a vast longitudinal country, it has a difference of 168 minutes between two extreme points. मतलब 2 hour 48 minutes का difference है between two extreme points. The westernmost point is Nascente do Rio Mo and easternmost point is Ponto dos Cias. These 2 points are important from your map marking point of view. Please remember their names. If not the names, remember their spellings. कैसे प्रोनाउंस करना है इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. फोन करके ये पूछना कि मैम इसको क्या बोलते हैं से ज्यादा इसका स्पेलिंग क्या है इस पे हम ज्यादा ध्यान देंगे बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव टू मेक दैट मिस्टेक. आपको क्वेश्चन में आएगा मार्क द वेस्टर्न मोस्ट पॉइंट ऑफ ब्राजील, तब आपको उसका नाम लिखने आना चाहिए, उतना मोर देन इनफ है. Now, because this country has a vast longitudinal extent, it is behind 2, 3, 4 and 5 hours of GMT. ये वेस्टर्न जोन में है, राइट? तो इसीलिए ये GMT से पीछे है, बिहाइंड है. सो इट इज 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours and 5 hours behind the GMT. बट अगर मुझे ब्राजील के साथ कभी कोई कम्युनिकेशन करना है, कुछ भेजना है, कुछ मंगवाना है, तो आई नीड अ पर्टिकुलर ऑफिशियल टाइम, राइट? So the official Brazilian time, that is the BRT, is 3 hours behind GMT. So if you have to communicate with this country, you have to follow the -3 hours GMT. Now we'll move ahead and talk about map marking.